Yeah, yeah. Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you. Discipline, production, tolerance. And that's all we need. Red Army. Yeah, we restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision. Yeah, we restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. One love, no division. Yeah. Whoa. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. I see leaders come and go. Full the pocket and the throw. Lion promise to get me out. Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you. Cause we know you're competent, brilliant, intelligent, woman of class and elegance. Bring back the love, no violence.
I'd rather zoom from them. No? He said, could you guys come forward, please? And just like what happened here, a few people came up. And he made the announcement again. And like the church here remained empty. So after he gave a speech and things like that, he said, great. All those who are in front here, give you a hand for. So like this here now, they say, but you have some hampers left. Could we get them? He said, no. He says, in business, you get an opportunity and you have to seize it or it goes bad. And I always feel that. So in business, when the opportunity comes, and I take it in one time, you understand? And I told them in a point that the next time I have a meeting like this, I'll bring hampers. But I didn't expect in my hometown that this will happen. So I bring no hampers, I take a chance. But the seats are empty and they can come up with them.
Pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. And welcome to Team Power today. We are delighted to be here with a fantastic team that has, when I was looking about data, I have seen over 100 years of international, regional, and local service. And I think we need to give a round of applause for that kind of Anyway, my name is Patricia Hocho. I'm the granddaughter of Sir Solomon Hocho. I don't know if that name rings a bell to all of you, but I have never really been in the political arena. I'm not saying I'm debuting. I'm just saying that according to Mr. Butcher, when opportunities present themselves, what do? You seize it, you grab it, and what do you do with it? You run with it. So thank you very much. I am delighted to be given the opportunity today to be your host. And I would like to start this afternoon proceedings by welcoming each and every one of you. I see we have wonderful weather, and I've seen that you've been very considerate of coming up front and allowing for any latecomers. So without further ado, I just want to give you a little idea of what the agenda is like today, so that you will have a clear idea of when to expect what. So I will go with the first four first, and then afterwards I'll go if that's okay. So I've been asked to begin with an opening prayer, after which we will start the proceedings with a national anthem, followed by a singer, and then after that, a brief intro. I'll be delighted to introduce our youth speaker on the podium, Ms. Kiwana Valdez. And after that, I will give the floor. So without further ado, may I ask each of you to clasp your hands, close your eyes, and let us invoke the presence of God our Heavenly Father. Today we come before you with aspirations and dreams that are as grand and praiseworthy as is your name. Let us go through this evening's procedure with grace and dignity. Let us fulfill the hopes and desires of those who have decided to entrust them unto us, and let us do all of this in your name. Amen. And now I would like all of us to please stand so that we can have recognition of our national anthem. Let's congratulate and welcome Mr. Nunez for the reason. Thank you.
Don't know it's fire and keep like giving you pressure. I don't let the girls I give them the no hesitation. I go to the situation, yeah. I don't get the girls that mash up the day. Straight and violation, no time for no preparation, yeah. I don't care what nobody say, I don't get the Nobody can stop me, nobody stop me, nobody can stop me, nobody stop me, nobody can stop me, nobody stop me, nobody can stop me. I am standing up in the corner like the Bobby one is how I know this, yeah, I'm making sure all is secret. With love corruption, I cause them to stay again, nobody I'm stuck with that, they don't get to know it. I don't get the guys that give the people no hesitation. I go to the situation, yeah. I don't get the guys that mash up in there. Straight down my lesson, no time for no preparation, yeah. I say, don't care what nobody say, I don't get no break. I don't like it, my birthday. Nobody can stop me, nobody. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you. Discipline, production, tolerance, and that's all we need. Red Army, yeah, we restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah, the PNM vision. We don't make a decision, yeah, we restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah, the PNM vision. One love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always be for them. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always be for them. I see leaders come and go, full the pocket and the throw. Lion promise to get without. Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you, cause we know you're competent, brilliant, intelligent, woman of class and elegance. Bring back the love, no violence. We got your back, put in the work, cause you put what people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah, the PNM vision. We don't make a decision, yeah, we restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, one love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always with them. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always with them. Misusing power like land they plow. Lost the THA, tell me how. This losing streak must stop ya now. Me show me can, when I call no foul. Strong leader, make a strong country. Never turn a blind eye when people hungry. Nunez Tesheira is the real leader for we. We got your back put in the world, cause you put poor people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, we don't make a decision, yeah. We restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, one love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always with them. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always with them. Miss Karen, Nunez Tesheira, TNT need you now or never. Full support from Jabi and the family.
These teenagers
dropping out of school to feed their habits of taking drugs by committing crime. This excessive use of drugs leads to functioning without the use of the drugs. Because of this drug abuse, learners end up doing illegal things like crime, violence, suicide, so that they can feed their habits. Some even end up homeless. Oftentimes, addiction is a result of homelessness. The difficult conditions of living on the streets, having to find food, struggling with ill health, being constantly away from loved ones creates a highly stressful state of life. Young adults suffer from homelessness and may additionally develop psychiatric conditions in response to a harsh lifestyle, often characterized by feeling threatened by violence, starvation, and a lack of shelter and love, which are stressful things that we want to show that we want to stand in that gap and step up for young people of today. Drug addiction and homelessness among youth is a crisis that is eating out the very fabric of our society. What is being done? As a youth and a youth speaker, if we look at our major cities, the streets are filled with homeless young men and young women who should not be. We have to put a stop to that. And therefore, when we are moving into office in this internal party election, I would want to ensure that this becomes a priority for the House to take action. This is my area of concern, and over the next 2 to 3 years, we hold the House and the government accountable in developing programs to eradicate homelessness and drug abuse in our cities and our communities, especially for the young people of today. I want to thank you for the opportunity for sharing some of the new concerns, and I am asking you to support Team Karen as we go forward in our internal elections on the 26th and the 27th of November and the 4th of December 2022. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much. Well, I told you this is the partner because she has but of course, who is accountability to any political party, that which you vote here. And being a youth, she wants to see the youth who are away from substance abuse, who are away from addiction, who are away from the homelessness. And this is, as young people, is telling us over the months what we want to see. So another round of applause. It's a great honor to have you. I'm going to give someone who's so stranger to all of us. A person who wants to stay from the young man, like myself. Well, of course, I know. But it gives me great pleasure to introduce the speaker. His name is Mr. Victor Philip, and having been born in San Fernando, he attended Corpus Street Anglican School, very prestigious still. It's a Latin school, and he also later on attended school in Maritime, his private school. This gentleman, and we noticing how he plays his stream. I just want to put you in on that. Very interesting. His love appears to be garment design and construction. And although he was a very good sportsman at school, in cricket, football, and so that love for garment construction and design led him to learn further and to later on supply members of Desperados and portals with their pants included. And later on, because of that love, he took it another step. He started to Having his products, his merchandise, his clothing, to people like Stephen and Johnson. To the young one, Stephen and Johnson used to be a new weekly establishment. And you know, people society, people again, you don't know, but people has a huge presence. Anytime there has to be a retail establishment. So he had his clothes there, and then later on started to export under the name Monster Garment. And here is part his lady pattern. Very nice. But what is interesting about this particular film is that he is ordained by the American Orthodox Catholic Church, not just as a deacon, not just as a reverend, but also a much priest. So it is a pleasure this afternoon that I welcome Bishop Victor Philip to our podium. But before doing this, I want to give you a little bit extra because he's a man of so many talents. This guy also went to BSc training, being a American born virus, and later on was given a scholarship at the Nazareth Deliverance Spiritual Church in New York. One of the things I noticed about him is that he is very active, and today I asked him, how can you, his age, get me wrong, be so active in so many places? So just want to give you an idea of what he does. He's the managing director of NOFIPR, HIH, a construction company that he has founded and he currently works at, having done many projects with this construction firm for government, such as last Nunez housing project, Augustus Cathedral project, John Highway, Shelton project, Swimming pool, water tennis court, and tennis court. Like the guys battery. But in addition to that, he has other affiliations. He is affiliated with the Cable Contractors Association and his Contractors Association, as well as the Conference on the Baptist and the Overseas Coalition. His reach has broadened, and he's also actively involved at St. George's College in Barataria under the Management Development Center. And he just indicated to me that he was also trained for a period of 4.5 years by a woman who was founded by International Labor Organization. So for a gentleman who has succeeded at school, at work, definitely a successful person and a man of God, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium, Bishop Victor Philip. Thank you.
Bishop, now let's say to be fine. Very fine. It has a hard reward in the back because your energy and your time are really actively appreciated. And we do it now, Bishop. That is not for this generation. You see about 4 generations. My great grandchildren all were regarded for that fight where you're doing right now because things very, very tough in the country. Try and the effort there to be all of the rules. All rules. Any answer that you need, I will do it in distance because if you have 10 more of this, we should be making this
I was so pleasantly going to carry the last short and excellently with the end. I can also next year of the People's National Movement. Members of the state movement, to my family, my friends, my fraternal brothers, I'm going to Christ. I'm going to the face of God. I stand in the presence of God. A man in a sanctified space. And we ask for one thing. The peace that passes all understanding. Fearless, honesty, decency, and respect. I want to remind members of this great movement of Nehemiah. Nehemiah, one of Israel's greatest leaders, told forth the power of the story and the rebuilding of the gates of Jerusalem. The rebuilding of Jerusalem was about the renewal of the faith of the people and the overcoming of national shame and the reformation of their belief. When the pastors and the army going to the temple, their lives or campaign national shame. All of our priests, because we just do this as priests. Can we in this election? You are very active for so many years. Now you want to be election officer? Yeah. My husband, my team will work before election, work hard on election day. And when the balance account on November 27, when the balance account is on November 27, we trust God that He be alongside. I feel good. The present PNL election officer must know, he should know that November 26, 27, and December is not transparent. There are the questions, there are no answers. And when they do answer, this is different. After voting some physical election, they normally report the results. That's not happening now. And I ask the question, are we practicing democracy? How we are practicing democracy? Election committee cannot answer that question. Because if you are going to talk about the box without counting the votes, and you are going to secure the ballots at secret places, where all the officials go in there. What about my vote you have to count? The democracy does not work like that. About the election officers, what are they keeping from? And you say the 9 days election split? It's normal. Power corrupts. The present issue, that's democracy. They're human beings. They're created by God. They will use every evil trick, every carnal trick to deceive the people. I hope that he is going to make it to Ferrari. As a son of my father, to have been make sure that we can do something about how much I have one day he has to see that so now. And you know what was easy. Our members of the PNL, we must defend our democracy. Democracy is not attacked in every other part of the world. China is isolated from it. As soon as you must be defended. You must have free and fair elections. About it, I have social experience about the payment function in each direction. Example, when you go to an application form and the payment is on the period, you have to put your name, your address, your occupation, your physical address. In those days, there is a Wi-Fi, there is a computer, it's just alone. And during an internal election, you will receive a list of membership with all the information, and we did have computers. I'm going to tell you what's secret. She said, let's tell you what's happening in the country. In 2019, there was approximately 440 homeless citizens on the streets. The majority living on the streets of our capital was in Salvador and Chihuahua. The Coordinating Committee to oversee the implementation and recommendation of the second report from the Joint Secretary Committee on Social Service and Public Administration recommendations. Our joint street fellows working committee remarked that there seems to be a bureaucracy in the industry. And there's only a small implementation team. So you have 20 managers, and you have a small team, maybe 4 or 5 persons, to look after the homeless. However, the source of this President's Act was amended in 2020, 24 years ago. Let us go for the executive leadership drives up and down of the state streets. They must have seen figures. You know something? There's no competition. What's after that? Nothing. National shame. We have an executive that cannot manage $1.3 million. National shame. That's what we want to do. That is where our heads are. The committee is not to invite efficiency of the same intervention direct to the social success in front of you. And secondly, they have the January 2016. We just started over $56 billion. But you're depending on the funds around. You are depending upon the funds around. So you can either really share what you want. The exact and the return. You have a problem. Then you look at the Dutch country. There was a flood that killed thousands of people. A committee was formed instantly to South Africa. Today, Holland do not suffer floods anymore. In that deal, for decades, we have complaints. No study is being done. No committee is being formed. It's not addressed. It just starts about 50, 60 billion. You got financial systems. I want to quote explain intellectual. Currently, chairman, politically the Dr. Kenneth Butcher, as election officer of the Kenneth, and Dr. Bishop Frederick, as election officer of the Kenneth. Our goals and objectives included including successful talent,
My mission. You can't live without talented men and women.
Yeah, yeah. Miss Karen Tesheira, we need you. Discipline, production, tolerance. And that's all we need. Red Army. Yeah, we restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision. Yeah, we restoring the vision. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we know that. But you can use concrete because we have closed down Petrotrin. No longer we have bitumen, but we have concrete plants. We have cement. We have aggregate. We can fix our roads, paving them with concrete. We are going to develop the small business sector. We are going to develop the agriculture sector. We are going to train all levels of management. Our engineers, before they graduate from the university, will get practice in industry before they graduate. Our young scientists will not migrate because they can't find jobs. Our attorneys, young attorneys, will be good social activists. We have to change the mindset of our people. We have to transform our nation idea, what it means to be a national of Trinidad and Tobago. And why we call Trinidad a paradise, as we know it used to be. We knew it used to be a paradise, where the pan and the calypso, Shadow and Kitchener and Fillmore and Wire and Shorty Eye and Stalin, when those are our ambassadors, where we could hear their music. When young men could apply their talents internationally. Then I will go home and play with my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I will teach them how to respect their elders, those in authority over them, and to fear God. We are going to plant trees. Our nation will prosper and reap the rewards. With the Baptist community, with them, you don't stigma anymore. Thank you for your time. May Almighty God bless and protect you and your families. Vote for Karen Nunez Tesheira for political leader of the PNM. Vote for Dr. Kenneth Butcher for chairman of the PNM. And vote for Reverend Victor Philip, Bishop Victor Philip for election officers. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And it shall prevail.
Thank you so much,
It's
Bishop Victor Philip.
Because we are live on Hot Off of the Press's Facebook page. We are the official election page on social media. Remember to follow Hot Off the Press on Facebook and follow Hot Off the Press on YouTube and Hot Off the Press on Instagram. We are live from Karen Nunez Tesheira's launch of her election campaign for the PNM internal elections 2022. You've just heard from Bishop Victor Phillips, and you heard prior to him the youth speaker, and of course Mr. Kenneth Butcher is about to take the platform directly after the team song. I want to remind you guys that we will be bringing to you all election campaigns live. All the election campaigns from the PNM internal elections. We're going to be bringing it live. Get in contact with us on Hot Off the Press Facebook page. And we're going to come out and make sure and cover your meeting. So you can see now. Let me see if I can get a nice picture of the crowd for you. Could we give them a picture of the crowd? We're going to show you guys how it's looking inside of here, so you'll have a idea of how it looks. Okay, so give us a little thing of the crowd.
Great is the PNM. I said, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always
So there you can see those in attendance at the meeting here. This is the launch of Karen Nunez Tesheira election campaign for political leader of the PNM.
the PNM vision. We don't make a decision. Yeah, we will stay with the vision. The PNM vision. The PNM vision. We love you, the vision.
Of the press. We are the official election page on social media where we're going to be bringing the entire internal elections to you live. We're going in every meeting, every camp, every team, talking with all the candidates and letting you guys hear what they have to offer, the members of the People's National Movement. So feel free to message us, Hot Off the Press on Facebook, and send us your meeting so we can come out there and carry it live. All right. So I'm getting ready to take you stateside. Ken Butcher is about to talk to us in a short while. Remember to comment in the comment section, to like the video and share the live.
Never do not blind eye when people hungry. Mr. Tesheira is the real leader for we. We got your back put in the world, cause you put poor people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision, the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, we don't make a decision. Yeah, we restoring the vision, the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, one love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM, I said great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always defeated. Miss Karen Nunez Tesheira. TNT need you now or never. Full support from Jabi and the family.
Aren't you just enjoying the vibes here this afternoon? Thank you very much. And now we're getting down to some very serious matters, aren't we? But I hope that as we go through these serious matters, that you take the time to really think about what each speaker is bringing in terms of their wealth of experience, in terms of their training, in terms of their passion, and how they wish to move this country forward. Our next speaker is none other than Dr. Kenneth Paul Butcher. He's a senior executive with over 25 years of experience, with a strong understanding of public and private sector operations, both locally and internationally. He possesses leadership skills in designing, developing, marketing, and implementing both policies and programs in relations to special purpose state companies, national sporting organizations, private sector organizations, and the construction industry. As a youth, he played both cricket and football at the highest level, even representing our sweet country, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, on the national junior football team during his last year at secondary school. At the primary level, Mr. Kenneth Butcher was the primary school champion in chess. And then afterwards, believe it or not, in 1968, he joined the Royal Air Force. Well, I was surprised about that. He is the holder or of a BSc degree in behavioral science, a master's degree in business administration, and a doctorate in business administration as well. He is currently a lecturer at Sital College in corporate governance and leadership at the MBA level during the period 2017 to 2019. Also, he has received certification from Robbins School of Business in Virginia. He is also having extracurricular activities as a qualified soccer coach and affiliated with the English Football Association, certification in the Brazilian Soccer Academy, further certification in the United States Soccer Federation, as well as certification in the Olympic Solidarity, FIFA. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I know Dr. Ken Butcher for probably about 20 years because we are both students of meditation at the Raj Yoga Center, only that he's there about 5 years before me. So he's with the Raj Yoga Meditation Center for 36 years. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us warmly welcome this sultry afternoon to our podium, the Right the Honorable Kenneth Paul Butcher. Thank you.
Miss Solomon Ochoy. I nearly didn't make out the person who she's speaking about there. The boss lady, as I see now, the boss lady, Karen Nunez Tesheira, Bishop, our youth speaker, ladies and gentlemen, and to the wider public, a pleasant good evening. Welcome. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to just share with you why I want to be the chairman of the People's National Movement at this time. We are getting feedback from the ground. We're getting feedback wherever we go that things are not right in the country. Anywhere you go is either boss, the thing ain't going good. You know, there's some complaint, a vibration that is coming. And you heard some of my experiences there. And I remember way back in around 1983, the same thing was happening. There was a vibration, a frequency in the air that things were not going right. Things were not going right. And we realized that the people were not happy. We had to make a change of direction. And the reason why I'm going here now is because of this discontent among the people. Not only our members, because we can't win an election with members alone. In Batara San Juan here, let us say we have 3,000 members. We can't win an election with that. We have to win an election with our supporters and some members of the wider fraternity who just want good corporate governance. So we have to listen to them. And the way the party works is the party will listen, they will develop a manifesto, and during the political campaign, we come to you and we say, hey, these are the things we want to do over the next 5 years in relation to Vision 2030. For the next 5 years, this is what we want to do. And we come to you. And based on that manifesto, you put us into office. We will have candidates, and once we get more than 21, we're good to go. But when we do that, the person who commands the greatest support of the members of parliament who won their constituencies, he becomes prime minister, he forms his cabinet, and then they will implement the manifesto. they implement the manifesto that all of us created. But what is happening now is that the government, the implementer, we don't have any accountability. We don't have a relationship with them in the party. Long ago, institutional knowledge tells me, I was talking to a few of the elders, from the time of Eric Williams and so, they used to meet and discuss. So there was some connection. Right now, we don't have a connection. It's a bit strained. We might have the system, but it's not working. So we here, the three of us, are vying for positions to strengthen the party, because the party is the machinery to get us in government. We have a local government election next year. We have a general election 3 years down the road. And therefore, we have to work from now. My experience again tells me, for example, when I had to fight my elections, I had to take 3 years before to put my machinery in place, because I was fighting a A-class horse. And when the time came, I was successful. You cannot leave it for the very year. You have to start preparing. And what we are trying to do now is to strengthen the party. COVID-19 didn't only kill a lot of human beings, in Trinidad and Tobago and worldwide. It killed a lot of our party groups. It killed the constituency at times, because we couldn't come out, we couldn't have the activities we're supposed to have at the party level in the communities. Normally, without COVID, the party groups will have a little fundraiser. Some of them will run a football, five-a-side contest, a netball, whatever. For the last 2-3 years, nothing. Not even virtual. So COVID really damaged us in terms of the structure. We have to build back that. Now, some of my experience, it wasn't mentioned, but I'll share with you. The government sent me to Cuba at one time to recruit Cuban coaches. I was in Texas to recruit lecturers and professors for the University of Trinidad and Tobago. That's part of my expertise. So when we have to recruit someone for a job, we have to put all the specs. And what are the specs for this job that I'm applying for? I analyze the specs as somebody who in that field, and I will share with you that I am very qualified for the job. But I want to put you on the spot. I want you to be part of my reviewing team. I want you to decide whether I am qualified for the job or who is the best person qualified for the job, because there are 2 other guys running against me. But for the party, we want who is best. All of us belong to the party. All of us are friends, whatever it is, all-inclusive, whatever. And with the party, we normally close ranks when you see that bell is called. But I want to pretend that the bell is called now. And we have to close ranks now. And we have to get the party strong and the machinery oiled, because we have a local government election next year. We experienced what happened to us in Tobago. Yeah? We moved from 6 to 14-1 or something like that. That's a momentum coming. If we don't get our house in order, we will lose some seats in the local government. And then we have the general, so we'll be on the back foot. We can't allow that. We have to get our machinery now. So I am saying, as chairman, you have to decide whether you want me as chairman. So here was the joke. I am giving you the tools, the components to evaluate me and my other guys. And who is the best, you think, in your mind? Vote for them. So when I go to interview coaches or professors or whatever it is, What is the job? In this job, I have to look at the qualifications of the person. So I want you to take down that mentally because you will be evaluating me at the end of the day. And these other two guys. So you have to look at the qualifications. You have to look at the experience. You have to look at the time that I can give to the job. Because there's no sense you're hiring me, and when the day come, I reach into work 9 o'clock, I reach to work 10 o'clock, and I leave at 2 o'clock, or I can't come, something wrong, this, that, the other. I must have time, and I must be committed. Yes? I must have leadership qualities. I must have interpersonal skills. I see some people starting to read the script already. I must be good at communication. Yeah? But most of all, it's the time for the job. You see this wrongs here? It is about commitment. So look at and this is one of the reasons why we say we have to move from the ministers being officers of the party. When you're a minister, you have Monday, you have to go to a GNP meeting, FNGP. And Tuesday and Wednesday, you're in the ministry. Tuesday, you have cabinet. Friday, you have parliament. Saturday, you're trying to see your constituents either at office or walk about. Sunday, you're fighting up to stay with the family and let your wife see your face a little bit in the house. Yeah? Right. What time will you get to run the party business? You can't. And that's part of the problem we're having right now. And what we are trying to do is say, okay, when we get into office, is as chairman now, my game plan is we have to have a relationship with the government. So we want to meet with them once a month, at least. So the executive of the party, we get all the problems coming up from the party groups and whatever it is. We have that. And we're meeting with the cabinet. And we say, Dr. Rowley, you know, yesterday I went to Cashew Gardens to get these chairs you're sitting on. My grandson was driving me. Well, it was like I was in the Bocas. I tell him, Gio, cool it. Because young people, they can't drive slow either. So I say, Gio, cool it. We had to go through this easy. After we load up the chairs, it's a long time I drive 5 miles per hour. We're coming through. So I tell Bishop, I say, Bishop, you have this big PNM inside here. How are you getting these people to vote for you? With this kind, he said, but Ken, you know, I talked to the minister about this. I say, yeah, and what's going on? No answer. So from a party standpoint, if the party is strong and we are meeting with the cabinet, we can say, hey, Minister Rohan, Kashun Gardens, what's the situation with this? And he would be able to tell me, hey, I have that program for the next 2 months down the road. Therefore, we could come back, relay the message, whatever it is. The next 2 months when I come back to him, it either has to be done or he has to have a reasonable. So we monitoring them and we're working and we're supporting them. We're giving them the feedback. That's where we're going. One of the things also that as chairman I would love to do, because we have to go in a new direction. COVID lick us up and we have to go in a new direction. We have to run the party now as a business. And that's where my business background comes in. We want to develop a strategic plan, a new strategic plan on where we're going. And I will suggest to Dr. Rowley, here was the story. I want you to evaluate the ministers when the year comes. At the end of the year, evaluate them. So we will know how they performed in relation to what they submitted at the beginning of the year in their ministries and in their constituencies. So when you have to reshuffle the pack, is not by guess. You have an evaluation of who did well and who didn't do well. And those who didn't do well, you could send them on short courses virtually. They can do it. And you strengthen them. And therefore, you are strengthening your ministers as well. But that is coming because the party is operational and the party is working and keeping you in check. So if after 6 months, after you support a guy and tell him what it is and what was the game plan, and he hasn't improved, you just remove him out of your cabinet because we want performance. So the party is what we concentrating on. Karen Nunez is not a member of parliament. So she's not vying for prime minister or anything like that. She is working towards strengthening the party. With her legal strength in the party, we'll be able to do things with whatever, the constitution, whatever. That's her strength, that's not my strength. So we are a team. So I want you to understand, because I think some people are fuzzy outside here. They think she's trying to overthrow Prime Minister, you know. No, she can't. She's not a member of parliament. We are working together and strengthening the party for the local government elections and the general elections. Because if we don't do that, we will be out of government. We will be out of government. And we will not be able to sing, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
From San Juan, where Karen Nunez Tesheira is launching her election campaign for political leader of the PNM. As you know, PNM internal elections is on the way, and she is vying for the leadership position of the party via political leader. We are hot off.
Here. We have Ronald from Lieutenant, and she will be action credited with
share the live and follow our Facebook page. Follow Hot Off the Press on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. We bring you closer to them so you can scrutinize them, yeah? So stick with us. We are here. We're bringing it live to you. We're going to be bringing all the meetings to you live. Give you an opportunity to hear what the candidates are saying, what they are proposing to you, so you can make an informed decision when you go to the election polls. Ask them the questions, give them an opportunity to answer. So we're getting ready for some entertainment right now. I see the drummers are lining up. Okay, so give them a little look at the crowd one time. Take in the crowd, guys. Give them the crowd. So you'll have an idea of how the crowd is here at this event. So I'm just going to arrange so you guys can see. Don't forget to comment. PNM talent from the Laventille folk performers here at the launch of Karen Nunez Tesheira's election campaign for political leader of the PNM.
Thank you very much.
So it's getting on the way, guys. Thank you so much for staying live with us. We are live on Hot Off the Press Facebook page. We are the official election page on social media. We're going to be covering the PNM internal elections live. We're going to be in every meeting, every camp, bringing to you all the candidates vying for positions within the party so you can have an opportunity to have an informed decision when you go to the polls via the PNM internal elections. Yeah. So we're getting ready to take in the candidate that is vying for political leader Karen Nunez Tesheira. She's about to take the platform right now. So sit back and enjoy. Stay with us. Yours truly, Aisha Wells, is in the building, bringing this broadcast to you live this Sunday evening. So you can comment in the comment sections. I'm seeing some of you commenting already. Let me say good afternoon to Tracy, Dennis, to Ashford Legaton, Anthony Eli, Joyce Smith. Good afternoon to Joy Smith, and good afternoon to Richard James. Morris is on the live as well. Top of the afternoon to Wendell McIntosh. And the debate is happening in the chat right now. Good afternoon to each and every one of you. Remember to like the video, share the live, follow us on Facebook. We are Hot Off the Press on Facebook, Hot Off the Press on Instagram, and Hot Off the Press on YouTube. We're going to go stateside as we're getting ready to take in the candidate vying for political leader of the PNM, Karen Nunez Tesheira. Let's go stateside.
As a PNM candidate for the constituency of Dabadi Umera in 2007 to 2010. She served as a member of parliament and a cabinet member appointed to the post of Minister of Finance in the government of Trinidad and Tobago, in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Between 2010 and 2014, you would think she would take a rest, but no, not at all. Ms. Tesheira was a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Law in Cave Hill, UWI, Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, her interests are focused on discussing issues which impact the socio-economic landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. She wants to be able to be given that opportunity to draw her experience as a former cabinet minister and member of parliament. Today, Ms. Karen Nunez Tesheira re-enters the political arena in her bid to be elected as the political leader of the PNM party. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Karen Nunez Tesheira. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and please be seated. Before I say, of course, recognize my team, Bishop Victor Philip, and of course, the chairman or chairman to be, Dr. Ken Butcher, who's well known in this area, also for the family, the Butcher family. Who doesn't know them? My husband was in football, and I certainly knew about the Butcher family. But I want to say before I move on, and of course, our very good master of ceremonies, I just wanted to say that drumming was so stirring. You know, it wasn't just about listening to a tune or music. It was, for many people, I'm sure, a call back to their forefathers, a sense of belonging. And that is what makes Trinidad and Tobago such a wonderful and challenging place to manage, because we have so many different cultural strings that are equally important, that we are, in a sense, very blessed in that regard. And this afternoon, you know, hearing that drumology, I mean, it really actually touched you. You know, it wasn't just music, but it was, you felt it. So I want to thank the two young men who performed. So getting straight on to the business at hand, we know that, as Ken Butcher has made it clear, and I want to make it clear, I am not challenging the prime ministership. There's a prime minister, and at least for the next 3 years, he is the prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago under the People's National Movement, a party of which we should all be proud, because it is a proud party, and it's a party that has been in existence since 1956. And there's no other party that can claim that. All parties have their fallings out and fallings in, but at the end of the day, the PNM has been able to weather the storms and be intact no matter what. So this is just another step in that direction. So having said that, though, of course, I'm here for your endorsement as the political leader. And currently, the political leader is the prime minister. But quite apart from what Ken Butcher said, which is true, very, very true, there's a lot of truth in the fact that being the prime minister, my goodness, me and prime minister is executive chairman. You're dealing with a set of directors who are your members of parliament and your cabinet ministers, and dealing with all the things. It is not an easy job, especially in a country like ours, where the population is effectively split between the two ethnic groups, and within one ethnic group, you have two religions. So it is not an easy thing to run Trinidad and Tobago for anyone. But I think I'm up to the task. And what I want to say to start off with is that when we talk about the party leadership, we are not, I say it all the time, but I will have to say it all the time. We are not a football club. Yes, Mr. Butcher, we are not a football club. We are not a cricket club. We're not a Domino's club. We're not any club, right? Or social club. Those are good things, and we admire them, but they are in existence for the purpose for which they came together, right? In the parties, regardless whether it's PNM, whichever party, a party is formed not because it wants to sit around and sing Kumbaya, they could do that too, but what they want to be is to be the leadership. They want to go into national governance. So the party leadership is the transition point from party to national governance. So when persons who are members of the party, persons who are not members of the party, have to make an assessment of us as a party, as whether, is this a party that we should allow to run our country, to be in charge of our country? Is this the party? It starts at the nursery stage. It starts at the party level. And what the message that the party sends is a message that you are going to send. The intention is, of course, when you go into governance. Now, normally when you have a fight or challenge or whatever you want to put it for party leadership, it's usually when you're in opposition, at least recently. But now we are seeing for ourselves the transition from party leader to prime minister. And we are seeing whether we can judge for ourselves whether that transition has been a good transition. And I'm not here to get into the prime minister and so on, but I have to say this, that it is clear that there's a disconnect. There is clear, it's more than the normal disconnect you hear about. There's a sense of alienation and a lack of compassion. And why do I say that? It's almost self-inflicted wounds. It's not what I say, it's what they have said themselves, one after the other, as if in a drumbeat, from coal pot to bicycle. What you doing on the road 8 o'clock at night? Use up your fuel. Why you're not going out at 8 o'clock at night? Why you don't send the children to school, stagger the time when you go to work, 8, 9, right? And other comments of that nature that seem insensitive. Something is wrong. Something is wrong that you can have a leadership. And believe you me, those are the saying that would not say it unless they had the I wouldn't use the word blessing, but they were not going against the leader. I was in government. I was a minister. I had a leader. You work in an organization. You want to get fired? You want to get dismissed? You follow the culture and the expectation of the leader. And if the leader sends a tone and allows others to adopt that tone, he's telling you, they are telling you what kind of leadership has come out of the party. It gives you, you're seeing it for yourself. So when, as I said, the party is not there just to come together as a party and, it has aims and objectives. And if you look at the aims and objectives of the PNM party, it is clear that it's intended for governance, national governance. It speaks about, I have some of the aims and objectives from the Constitution, Article 2, a high standard of living for all, both moral and material, equality of opportunity for all, and a career open to talent. These are the things that the PNM, not who is sitting in this position, but what the party stands for. And when you hear someone say, yes, not wrong, rich, get richer, let me get richer, let me get richer, and then some money will come down, trickle down. We know trickle down. Well, for me, I could tell you, trickle down economics was tried and tested with both Reagan and Thatcher, and it was found to fail. That was what they call these Chicago boys. I don't want to get too technical, but the University of Chicago boys, Friedman, who said that we have to lessen the taxes on the wealthy and give the wealthy and the businesses tax breaks and take away all the regulations and so on, because then if you free it up like that, they're going to make more money, and if they make more money, they're going to employ more people, and they're going to increase more opportunities, and so on and so on. It did not work. Thatcher lost because of that. Reaganomics failed because of that, because there was no trickle down. So this idea about the rich getting richer, and that way when they get richer, I'm talking like how he spoke, If you hear me put it on that tool, because that's how I heard him speak. He said it like that. He said the rich get richer, they get richer, and then we'll come down to the poor. Pack of nonsense. And if that is true, why it hasn't happened? Because we know, and I know because I write a lot of articles before this, I'm going to have to take a break from doing that. But I wrote a lot on inequality. Because when they talk about the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals, they don't really talk so much about poverty, They talk about the inequality in the system. And when we look at urban poverty, a large part of the issue of urban poverty is you're surrounded by wealth. And that wealth creates resentment. And I don't want to go on that, except to say that clearly something is not right. Something is not right. And the foundation of the Balize house, I'm not in construction like the bishop, but even I know that if you do not, a house that's built without a strong foundation is sure to collapse. And ironically, our home of the PNM is called Balize House. And so that construction, that foundation is under threat. There's no question about it. And it's not fighting against, it's fighting for. It's not fighting against. We don't like the medicine, the tough medicine. We don't like to be told that we're doing wrong. But I am not saying it. It's reported in the media. It doesn't matter. It's you seeing it reported, not me saying it. You know that that is what is going on. And so the foundation is in crisis, I would say. And if we want to save it, we got to start building that strong foundation. Now, they must have had, as I've said before, a premonition that they felt the foundation was so bad they had to break it completely down because it's gone. The whole of Bally's house has been destroyed, which I have my views on that. I do not understand it. I think it's a travesty to the many prime ministers that we had before, and a prime minister that I thought had a lot of respect, and I have said it before, a lot of respect for historic buildings, which he showed for the Red House, the President's House, Tolmeyer Castle, Milford. I really admire that. So he understands the value of history, and he understands the value of restoration. But somehow he felt there was nothing worth saving in Bally's House. Of course, one will then have to ask, where is the money coming from? But that is a different question. But what I want to say to you is that what is an issue for us dealing with the party? The party must represent, you know, we say these words glibly. We just say it off our tongue, you know, say it off our tongue, and we say it and we sound good. Transparency and accountability. I'm sure you know all the words. Integrity. I'm sure you're familiar with the words, because that is what a governance is all about. But then when we look, those are the hallmarks of a strong party that will go into strong governance. But look at what I am here dealing with the party. So my function now is to look at where can I see that so-called transparency, credibility, accountability, integrity is put at risk. The very electoral process. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm having lawyers deal with it too. But the answers, the first question you ask, why 9 days, effectively 9 days? Why? They say because General Counsel says so. I think that was the answer. Which, if it is the answer, you know the word hubris? It's like, you know, to ask me stupidness, I don't have to answer to you. That's what we decide. So take it. Right? That's what we decide. I'm not so sure that you could do that. I have a feeling you're supposed to go back to the Constitution, because it does say an election day. Now, it is true there are 2 days, but that's the case in any election where you have special electors. Those are the people doing the polling and so on, vote the day before or whenever, and then the day for the whole country to vote. It's done in 1 day, right? And not only is it done in 1 day, the boxes, each party is represented when the votes are counted. Each party can follow the police car to where they put in the boxes. And each party is there to see how the votes are being counted and which one are good, which one is questionable. Everybody is there. And why? It's not because nobody has nothing else to do. It is because you want to ensure transparency, integrity, and accountability. Not so? Right. But that is so straightforward. So why are you now going suddenly to 9 days? Because that's what it is. 26th, 27th, and a big gap to the 4th of December. Right? And I must not ask you any question. That's what we decide. But I don't know if the General Counsel could decide that. My lawyers are looking at it. I don't know if you need a constitutional change in interpreting an election day, because you look at what has happened in the past, how an election day has been interpreted, and whether now you can go this year, and for what reason. You have not given a good reason. But the good reason I could think of is between the 27th and the 4th is a big gap. Who has those boxes? Where are you putting those boxes? And are you going to tell me the police are sitting down there watching those boxes 24/7? They're escorting it. But who is looking, who is making sure? Because what you want to ensure there's no tampering with the box. Who has access to the box? Who can open the door to get into the box? And you know why you have to be concerned? And the party should be concerned. The party, it should even come from us. You know, that is the sad thing. We shouldn't be even bringing this up. They should understand the concern. The concern is himself to himself. Because the very same people, the person who is currently the chairman is the Minister of Finance. He is the chairman of the party. And then the party leader, of course, is the Prime Minister. The point I'm making is, when they want to give us these assurances, it's himself to himself. Because none of them I'm aware of step down from their role. None of them I'm aware of do not want to be political leader, do not want to be chairman, do not want to be deputy chairman. I don't know any of them say they don't want to be there. So they have an interest, an inbuilt vested interest in the outcome. And yet they are the ones who must tell us, don't worry, it's safe. You're right. The other point is, you can't do that. You can't do that and tell me that you are accountable and transparent. You can't tell us that in government if when it comes to the party machinery itself, it's lacking the basics of that. Then not only the boxes and where it's stored and who's going to have the thing and tell me not to worry. I mean, that is so ridiculous. Hear that response? I mean, it's equivalent to that. Mind your business. You have it under control. Mind your business. The other part, of course, is the date, the cutoff date. I don't know how many of you knew that the 23rd of August was the cutoff date for new registrants for voting. I don't know how many of you knew. I didn't know. I'm not going to call the name, but everybody was wanted. So many people wanted to join to be able to vote. Don't you want people to join your party? Don't you want people to participate in the electoral process? Don't you want that to happen so that at the end of the day, when we have a national election, boy, if you see how many new people we get to join the party, if you see how many of them vote in elections, if you see how we are, boy, the PNM is alive and well. Don't you think that is what would be your objective? If that's what you want, if that's what you're about. But why is it that I have to ring people telling me they want to join, they want to vote? Well, you know, they believe, and I can understand, they may think, well, anybody who wants to vote now probably voting against them because a lot of votes are anti. You know, that is a history, not only in Trinidad, all over, they vote out. So very quietly, so I rang to find out what the process is. The person to whom I spoke, who I will not call the name out of respect for the person, and I like them, it's nothing personal at all. I mean, he had no idea when was the close-off date. He couldn't tell me, well, you could go and get the application form in the constituency. And I mean, it was only when I had that open letter. Somebody said, why are you writing an open letter? I said, I'll write an open letter because if I speak to them in person, they might answer me, as they might not answer me, or they might give me a different answer. So I want to commit them to the answer. It's only then I found out the 23rd of August was the close-off date. They told the constituencies. But is it only the constituencies you want to vote? Or is it, don't you want the whole of Trinidad and Tobago to vote, to join your party? Is it not the objective? Is it not the objective of the party to gain membership? Is it not the objective of the party to have more and more people take part in the electoral process? But when you keep that date as if it is a hidden date, that nobody seems to know it, something is wrong with that. It is not transparent. It is not accountable. It is not credible. And the final point on that was, on that list, is the preliminary list. Well, we did get it because, again, we wrote, I mean, that I don't know if we had to, but it seemed like other people had the preliminary list and we did not have it. Why? I don't understand that. And then the preliminary list, what I do know is that preliminary list goes up to Balize House. And then they decide who goes on the final list. You don't think something's not right with that? Isn't there not something right? Something's not right with that. Because certainly, if you're going to do that, you should be transparent and tell me what are the factors that exclude and include persons. And I should have a representative there when you're going through that process. Because it's himself to himself. And I don't care if you tell me that I am not taking your word. And you know why I'm not taking your word? I'll tell you why I'm not taking your word. You give me enough reasons not to take your word. And I'll give you just some examples of why I cannot take your word. The current chairman, How many matters has been involved in? And I'm only dealing with issues that deal with breach of natural justice, fairness, and integrity. Every one of those cases is either challenged on that basis or lost on that basis. You hear what the reasons are? Breach of natural justice, integrity, transparency, and accountability. And what were they? Let's start with Joala Rambaran, who brought an action for unlawful dismissal. He said that he advised the central bank that to end his contract in December 2015. But the court said, not me, said that you did not give him an opportunity to be heard. You did not give him an opportunity to answer the claim that you're making as to why you wanted to bring his contract to an end. I am not taking sides with him, you know. I am just telling you that's an example of lack of transparency. And what we paid, 5-point-something million for that. That is your chairman, who we must believe has my boxes safe. The other one now is with the Sagico and Maritime. I don't know if you all follow that, but the CLICO in traditional business, the central bank was going to sell it to an appropriate company. And at the end of the day, in the bidding process, it ended up with Maritime and Sagico. Now, according to I read the judgment, so I'm not just saying it, I read the judgment to make sure. It's 2 steps in the bidding process. And then when you reach the second step in the bidding process, that's when it comes to an end, and they have the factors, and that's at that stage the person is selected. For reasons unknown, they took a year and a half again to have a 3rd step. And when they had the 3rd step, again, the Minister of Finance, you know why it was set aside? The judicial review. He went for judicial review. This is a Privy Council decision. Let me be correct. This is a Privy Council decision. Because Maritime, who had bid much more than Sagico, this is in the public domain, so I'm not telling secrets out of school, had they asked for judicial review of the central bank's decision that it was not fair, it was not transparent, breach of natural justice. They say the standard for that is low, but once you appeal, it gets high. So when you want to say that you are against the judicial review, the standard that the court applies is going to be much higher. And then when you go to the Privy Council, they say it has to be almost exceptional circumstances that we will not allow judicial review. And they said there were no such exceptional circumstances. So they allowed Maritime to challenge the decision to give the award of CLICO's and British Americans' traditional portfolio to Sagico. Now, I am not taking sides, you understand? But what I'm trying to tell you, the reasons are lack of transparency, lack of accountability, breach of natural justice. These, because those are public law. And the last one is this lady in Board of Inland Revenue. The Board of Inland Revenue, again involving your chairman. Again involving your chairman. Overstepping she was the one next in line to be made chairman of the Board of Inland Revenue. I am not saying she should be the right one or she should be the wrong one. But you know why she is suing and she's able to put what her position is? That the decision not to appoint her, they did not give her a chance to say her point of view. They did not give her a chance to defend herself against any claims when they're made against her. And therefore, again, breach of natural justice, lack of accountability and credibility. That is your chairman. And the last one, I'm sure you saw, where the court has called 7 ministers with the firearms case against Griffith, which I don't support, by the way, so I'm not taking up for him at all, because I have my own views on it. But the point about it is, why are they being called? Because they're saying you cannot take that report and lay it in Parliament until you give him an opportunity to see the report and answer the claims. Breach of natural justice, lack of integrity, lack of credibility, and that is your chairman. That is who telling you, don't worry about the boxes. How am I going to tell you again? When a man shows you who he is, believe him. Yes? And the best, and the last part is, when I'm finishing now, the best predictor of future behavior is past relevant behavior. I got that from Dr. Phil. I do watch Dr. Phil on occasion, but it's true, right? If you want to see how someone would behave, check what they did before. And he's showing you who he is. And I didn't speak about his other contender because all of them in the same khaki pants. So what I'm going to say now in ending on this is that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this. Because I believe at the party level, there's a lack of that. Transparency, accountability. And that is why we are having the difficulties that we are experiencing at the national governance level. Inequality and the level of crime. And I'm not going to go in detail on it because you can read it yourself. I always like to make sure I do my research because when I used to lecture, students will tell me, Mrs. Tesheira, you said so and so, but my father is one of the top, senior counsels and so, and he said that isn't correct. I say, you know what? I tell you what, tell your father or your uncle, whoever it is, to tell me where he got his information, where he got his source. If it's legislation, okay, so because guess what? He's not a source of the law. So I make sure to try and get to the source. So when I look at crime, which I'm not going to go into detail with you, but it was in the Express newspaper, fighting, which dealt with the question of whether the government had delivered on its promises on crime. And I mean, the list is so long, but you know what it focuses on? You figure out what what they say they have not done. 2000, how long they're there now? 2015, November 2015. They're going to. Well, they know they're going to in a lot of things by dealing with the crime because that's what bothering all of us, right? They're going to extra drones. They're talking about the CCTV command center, immigration use of biometrics, recruiting forensic investigators, operationalizing and expanding the police service maritime branch, investment in lasers and body cameras, procurement of interceptors for the Coast Guard, and on it on. You get the picture of what is not being done. Lots of promises and no delivery. And that brings me to the last point here, which when I was a member of parliament, it was hard. It really was. It really was hard. I mean, I had to tell my team, I said, listen, our parents, and they're old. And, I don't know how long again they have. And I have to have one day for them. So you see, Sunday, don't make any plans for me. I'm not going in any church. I'm not going to any service. I'm not doing that because that day is my parents. I had to put down my foot because if I didn't, I would have no time to myself. It's very demanding. Huh? And as Minister of Finance, it was very demanding. So what was my record as Minister of Finance? Where I can say in 2.5 years, what I did as a minister and what I did as a member of parliament. As a minister, I was the one that the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority had been already passed in the lower house when we decided Mr. Manning called the elections. The Financial Intelligence Unit had already been established. The Financial Intelligence Act had been established. Property tax, I know you don't like to hear about that, but the property tax, which San Fernando was paying much more than the rest of the country, but that's another story. We had actually had the bills ready to send out. We actually had the bills ready to send out, and Mr. Manning said, put a halt on that, right? But the biggest challenge was, of course, the global financial crisis. Whilst people talk about CIB, they must remember something. In 2000, and at the end of 2008, I went to the World Bank meetings, the October meetings that they have, and Strauss-Kahn was the head of the World Bank at the time. And at the time, the price of oil was doing very well. So he had a meeting with the Caribbean delegation. And I went and asked him personally, because we are an energy country, so it's important to us. I said, do you think the price of oil is going to stay at $100? He said, yes, absolutely. By January, it was $23. And not only was it $23 for us, but the whole world. You can remember. See, we kind of forget after a while. Iceland, England, United States, Latin America, everywhere you had financial companies collapsing. Because why? Lack of confidence. Because no bank can pay all its investors in one day. They just don't have it. It is based on confidence. Bear Stearns, I remember, that's one of the big players at that time. I remember the guy coming to see me and get the government to invest. In a weekend, it collapsed. You know why? Run. You know why? No confidence. no confidence in persons. We were dealing with $23. And I could tell you, those 2 weeks were one of the most challenging weeks, because from the time I was told by the governor on the 13th of January, the media had already gotten wind that something was wrong. We had meetings with Republic Bank because 51% of Republic Bank was owned by Clico. Most of the annuities and pensions were kept by Clico or to some extent British Airways. They were the second largest landowner in the country besides the government. They own Angostura. Their reach was they own malls. They own developments. In other words, they were very big, and they knew they were very big, and they knew that letting them collapse, it would be collapse of the economy at a difficult time of $23. So we had to play a little chicken with them. But the bottom line was, when we came out at the end of January, myself, the governor of the central bank, and Lawrence Supre, whom I had no good feelings about, but that's another story, right? We stood together as a united front and made sure that the country felt confidence in what we were doing, and it worked. There was no run on any bank. You saw Clico or anybody or Republic Bank, anybody running to take out their money. There was no run. There was no collapse of our financial sector. And I have to say, together with the governor, support of the prime minister, I have to say that we were able to weather that storm, which many countries did not. And I think we have to recognize that as an accomplishment, because the story would have been very different. Yeah. And my final contribution is as an MP, because I was an MP who was very committed to her work. So I actually used to have, you're finding out now, because I wanted to keep it with the people, I wanted to be part of my constituency. So I would send out, it don't look like that anymore, but let's not look at that part, right? Looking at the message, building bridges. So this was the first one of what I was going to do and what I would have accomplished or going to accomplish. Then I did another one in October 2009, setting out all the different projects that we were involved in, especially Karapo. I did a lot of work in Karapo, I have to say. Anyhow, the point is, this is the one that I'm showing you all, what we delivered. What is the word? Delivered. And this is what I delivered in the 2.5 years that I was there. In fact, in Karapo, I don't know, we put in sewers and proper drains and bridges, fire hydrants, a footpath from Churchill Roosevelt. They didn't have a footpath for the children to go to school, so it was very dangerous for them. The bridges, Ferry Road Bridge, we installed a retaining wall on Kelly Street, a retaining wall at Peytonville Bridge, speed humps, lighting up nearly every park, road paving, a whole list, drainage, bus service. We had a service from Ariba to Karapo to St. Helena. Parks projects, pump repairs, garbage collection. That is all just in one area, I'm talking about Karapo. And then we had Malabar with park lighting, and I could go on and on. The point is, I was working. I delivered. In the 2.5 years, I delivered. Right? So I'm not talking about what I will do. I am talking about what I said I promised to do and communicate, and what I delivered in 2.5 years. So if that's anything by which you can judge me, and my final comments, if that's anything you can judge me by, I think that I have shown, I have written a lot before. Before I entered the race, I was asked to come in, and I said, what? They're, writing my articles, being on shows and so on. And I said, but then I said, you have to do it because it's your country and you love it. So here I am. And here I'm asking you to endorse me. I think, I should let you know one thing. With the MP, and I think that was a lesson too. This guy got Balio Singh. For some reason, I remembered it, Kevin Balio Singh. For some reason, he didn't care for me. And he wrote an article saying, I was this terrible MP, he talked me and so on in an article. The next week, I had nothing to do with this. They did a national survey, and they said I was even more popular and considered a better MP than Jack Warner. I was number one. It was, yes, that is true. So we thought I was safe, but when you're dealing with the machinations of others, it's not that safe. So I ask you, finally, to endorse me for the leadership of the People's National Movement, because I believe I have the experience, I have the track record, and the desire and commitment already shown in the past, and I'm ready to serve you once again. Thank you.
Oiling, machinery, working with accountability, working with transparency. What is the other one? Integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers. Hear your question, and you want to have it addressed for all of us. You know, in a family, in a home, when a child has a problem, what does the child do? It goes to the leaders, it goes to the parents, the parents of the home.
way of life. But that's the only way that we could deal with it. It's like going to the doctor. If you go to the doctor and you have a fever, well, he's a very bad doctor. If he look at your fever and tell you to take 2 Panadol and go home, because he did not
now instituting or would like to recommend to the Prime Minister that we meet with him once a month so that whatever the party groups throw, bring it back down to the party groups, and that's the party. And it is important for a pathway to be operating. If I take my experience of sport, let me take a pet sport. Okay, let me take netball. I could call anyone, but I got somebody from the audience and football. We have a pathway. In the primary school, you have competition. From primary school, you go to secondary school. From secondary school, you're in your communities, you're attached to a club. You go the line. You're selected to play under 14 for the national team. You go to under 16. You're in your club and in your school, you're able to play for the national under 16. It goes to under 9. There's a pathway right through. From the under 19s, we develop. I was given the responsibility because of the competition of our kids having to go to universities abroad on scholarship. But some of them were good and they couldn't go. We developed at UTT a scholarship program. We had 10 disciplines of sport. We hired coaches from throughout the world, some from Canada, whatever it is, to make sure that we were competing. So we had a pathway as well. We produced at UTT the first Olympian in laser sailing, a boy by the name of Andrew Lewis. When he came into UTT, he was the best athlete I ever came across. When he came to us at UTT, he made a presentation that blew me out of the water, and I gave him a scholarship. He blew me out of the water in that he could tell me by what year he would represent Trinidad and Tobago at the Olympics. The study that was done. And he even made the Olympics before that time, because he came back to tell me that some of you had to go to either 2 Olympics and you had to be at a certain age and things like that, right? When we discussed it, and he came back one year and he told me, he said, Coach, I'm having some difficulty with these senior laser sailors. Sometimes I turn first, and when I turn on the last flag, I'm so excited that my body started trembling and things like that. I say, you want a sports psychologist. I gave him a sports psychologist, and after that, when he won his first regatta, he was beaming. So we had the pathway again right up. We took him and we sent him from UTT. We sent him to Southampton University. I can give you a lot of experiences. We went to Loughborough, #1 university in Europe for sport, and had relationships with them that they would come here and do research with us. We went to Australia. Australia wanted to do a cultural research program on fast bowlers who had taken 200 wickets and more, and they wanted to do something on their cultural background because they had done it in other countries, and all of that went to the window when there's a change of government, and then cut our troops. And now the program is not running. So that is why I'm so passionate that we need to stay in government. We want to strengthen the party, make sure the party works, make sure the machinery gets us back there, and we will continue our work with the government, whoever is in the cabinet or whoever it is. We have to support. Yeah.
I know you all have to go home and so forth. My apologies, people, keeping you all back. I really apologize. We just have a question and a statement. We're going down the road. Yes, B&M style. Yeah, just a question and a statement. The question is, what is the expectation of the relationship? I go back to the description of some of the persons in cabinet right now that was given on the table, yes? In terms of the level of, using my word, in terms of the level of their toxic behavior and so forth. So the team went successful. What sort of relationship you expect to have with that group of people in terms of the party, what the chart for the party? Chairman?
I would say that because we want a closer relationship with the government right now, once we can meet with the Prime Minister and his members, and he can do the evaluation on his members for their performance at the end of the year, he can now come in a transparent manner, liaising with the party, to indicate that this is what we have here. So we have a closer relationship. We say, well, Prime Minister is saying that this particular minister, out of 10, he's only getting 5, he's getting 5. So what are you doing about him? In a nice, supportive manner. So the Prime Minister now will say, okay, I will have to get rid of him or fire him. But we are not doing that. We are working with the Prime Minister and the Cabinet to get performance.
Agreed with what is your intention. It's a beautiful intention. All kumbaya. But you don't have a kumbaya group on the next side. And that's the concern. All getting the next side is in kumbaya with you. Because they're here right now, and how we see a behavior that is demonstrative of what you want in the existing cabinet right now. This day, we want some level of reform, we want some level of transparency, we want some level of focus, we want some level of party unity, we want some level of party building. You ever said, yes, you are telling me about an election that lasted 7 days and the folks going down 2-4 and coming back to Barrow. Is there a party that really wants to do kumbaya with you? Really?
So as the chairman now, I would say, Boss Lady, you are the lawyer. If we have to amend the Constitution and bring it a special convention and amend the Constitution, we bring it there, we have the party here. So we do it transparent and we use it Boss Lady expertise. As I told you before, I'm not a lawyer. So I'm not getting too much involved. I will give the information as I see coming from the ground and from the young people. But the Boss Lady and her team, based on their experience with
I like Dr. Discuss. So what am I supporting? Now, don't worry, I'm just sharing up to you when it was a troublesome.
I realize people want to hear from people on the line. Okay, great. I'm going to just ask one more question on behalf of the line. What is your plan in electing in the shortest possible time to regain Tobago? And then I'm going to pass it to the line, to this gentleman.
Tobago is part of the 41 of constituencies. From a party standpoint, we have to get into Tobago. Again, we are going to work with the ground, we're going to work with the party groups across them, find out, get the feedback from them, take the advice and work with them. Karen might have a different approach.
Chairman is right. Yeah, it's politics. And it's good. It's not. It's would be unrealistic and therefore unfair about our part if you don't understand. I understand what the players people that go to that. People don't give up their power and position of their parents unless they have to, unless they are constrained to do that. And if they see that they're losing support because of the very things that we are raising, and we are willing to work with the
government job, restore those very same things that they're putting them at risk, then at the end of the day, it's really going to be the decision of the government. Because we are certainly willing to work with them. We are not there. We want to see the PNM succeed. I really believe, and I think all of us really believe that the PNM is the best party. I really believe that. I mean, I'm not just saying that I would do this if I didn't believe that. So you have to understand, when I look at parties and what PNM stands for, I believe that the PNM is the best for all the parties. And structure and so on. Obviously, we have lost our way somewhat, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to listen to you when you have power. That's the name of the game. It's not just the PNM, it's every party. Generally, as a small power, they have to listen to you, whether they like it or not. And they're going to listen to you. Do I think it's going to be a walk over? Do you think I'm going to go inside there? And I saw that in the country planning, the way he was treated, outside. Level of disrespect. I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked at the way that he was treated. So I have no chance of what I'm telling of myself. I understand a lot of the players don't understand that I understand that. So I am really just with my heart, all hearts are in the right place. I was given my confidence as always say with the case. I did not get any money yet. If they have always got money, I'll be very happy because it's good in your life. But the point is, that's why I take this step. Can you go check out that plan? We all are independent enough, committed enough to our country and our party to do what we do. That's what.
The machinery of the PNM party is the best in the world. I have already identified. Just in case I want to plan, just in case we have 3 consecutive dynamical win, but we have to work on it. So even if we lose focus, we will still form the government because we will work and we have identified and we will have those seats here. So I have a different. Yeah, but the party must function separate from there. The minister is too busy. This is a full-time job. I live about 15 minutes from the central office corridor. So I have a call, I can call in anytime. It is a full-time work.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is coming for us to make these changes to reform the way things are being done, to look forward to the future, to look forward towards the future, and to decide what kind of life we would like for our children and our grandchildren. We want to move a path where there is transparency, integrity. We want to be able to have accountability. We need to know that the aims and objectives of this party, equal opportunity for all, and a high standard of living is not just for selected few. There are many things to be sorted out, lots of inequalities, but it must start with recognizing that there is an issue and then dealing with it. As I sat here listening to your question and answer, an analogy came to my mind, and I wish to bring this to your presence. Whenever there is a problem with your foundation, a crack in a house, in a foundation, one does not say we better find the issues inside and have a crack in the house. You don't prolong it, you don't delay it, you tear it inside. And we have to discuss things, financing, material, and so forth to repair the crack because the crack is going to get bigger. So when there are senior politicians, experienced cabinet members, people who have given over 20 years service collectively, is saying that there are issues to be addressed and offering alternatives and offering their time and their energy and expertise I think we need to acknowledge, accept, and to be part of that process. So let us fix the cracks. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring this proceedings, this afternoon proceedings to a close. I want to thank the organizers of this venue. I would like to thank those who took part in organizing this forum today, those who are online listening, those who are working with media, those who are with transportation, those who are with catering. I got started between you and refreshments, so we'll be much longer. And I would like to thank God for giving us this opportunity today to come here and discuss the cracks in the foundation. Because when annexed, it has to be repaired. Not later, but now. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. And I would like to end with a simple prayer. So you can clasp your hands, stand and close your eyes. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to invoke your presence. A presence that was felt, a presence with a parental guidance, a presence that is gentle, reassuring, yet full and striking. But Lord, we are here, your humble servants and shepherds, and we will take note and we will follow. In God's name, we are here. Amen. Thank you. We have refreshments to the room to my left. You're welcome to our party. Thank you very much. And say triple to everyone, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah. Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you. Discipline, production. Tolerance. And that's all we need. Red Army. Yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision. Yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. One love, no division, yeah. Whoa. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. I see leaders come and go. Full the pocket and the throw. Lion promised to get me out. Miss Nunez Tesheira, we need you. Cause we know you're competent, brilliant, intelligent. Woman of class and elegance. Bring back the love, no violence. We got your back, put in the work. Cause you put poor people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision, yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. One love, no division, yeah. Whoa. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always be for them. Misusing power like land they plow. Lost the THA, tell me how. This losing streak must stop ya now. Me show me can, when I call no foul. Strong leader, make a strong country. Never turn a blind eye when people hungry. Mr. Tesheira is the real leader for we. We got your back put in the world, cause you put poor people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, we don't make a decision, yeah. We restoring the vision, the PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, one love, no division, yeah. Whoa. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always be for them. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always be for them. Miss Karen, Nunez Tesheira, TNT need you now or never. Full support from Jabi and the family.